Next up, we're honored to have Robert McCrae, who is the Director of the Government Affairs Division of the Council on American-Islamic Relations, CAIR.
Thank you.
We are so excited to be working with CAIR. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Again, my name is Robert McCaw. I'm the Government Affairs Director for the Council on American-Islamic Relations, the nation's largest Muslim civil rights and advocacy organization. I first want to express my deepest thanks and appreciation to Taxpayers Against Genocide and the National Lawyer Guild's International Committee for their courageous and vital work, and it really is vital work, in this historical complaint with the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. CAIR offers our fullest support in their effort, and this effort at holding our government accountable for its complicity in Israel's ongoing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, against their occupation and apartheid of Palestinians throughout the region, including the West Bank. We stand united alongside all those gathered here today in this room, all those watching across the nation, and all those Americans demanding accountability and justice. So I ask ourselves today, where else can Americans go who oppose our government's complicity in genocide? Where can we go to turn for justice? How can we ensure that our individual hands are not stained with the blood or oppression of Palestinians when it's our tax dollars and our elected officials in our government agencies that are facilitating these atrocities? Our own branches of government have failed us. The executive branch under President Biden and now President Trump continue unabatedly to provide funding, political cover, and support for Israel's genocidal actions. Israel's deliberate use of starvation now in this campaign of blocking humanitarian aid flagrantly violates U.S. law and international law. It further intensifies the suffering of Palestinians, and our government's refusal to classify Israel's starvation tactics, its bombings of hospitals, schools, refugee camps, water treatment centers, electricity lines, communication centers, press tents, a zoo. This is genocide. I have spent the last several weeks watching starved, emaciated, dead children that remind me of my own children every day, and I know this is a genocide, and yet our government doesn't have the will or the ability to refuse to track how these weapons of war that we're providing Israel are being utilized in these war crimes. It is a violation of our government's duty to uphold the U.S. Constitution, our laws, international law, including the Leahy Law, which mandates the end of weapons transfers to human rights violators. Every Israeli unit operating in Gaza and the West Bank has used U.S.-supplied weapons to commit documented war crimes, and yet our government ignores these crimes willfully. Meanwhile, our law enforcement right now and immigration agencies are targeting, arresting, detaining, and attempting, while failing, to deport brave students and activists whose only so-called crime is to speak out against this genocide. Our Congress, even worse, those that we elected to represent us, have turned a blind eye and refuse even basic acknowledgement of these crimes, and instead they're competing to introduce bills in Congress that would silence us and criminalize American citizens, especially these brave young people, these students who are courageously speaking truth to power. We don't speak enough truth to power in this country. So instead of condemning genocide, Congress is eroding our rights. And as we've heard earlier, our courts, they have even closed their doors to justice. Though the U.S. District Court in the Northern District of California explicitly recognized Israel's military actions as intended, I'm going to quote, to eradicate a whole people, that's genocide. And therefore, it's genocide. The court concluded that it lacked jurisdiction to halt our government's complicity, stating, and I quote, "There are rare cases in which the preferred outcome is inaccessible to the court. This is one of those cases," and the court went on to urge the White House, which is very rare for a court to interfere with administrative actions like this in policy, to reconsider its unwavering support for genocide. So while we acknowledge that there are some limitations to the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights on what they can achieve, we cannot, and indeed we must not, remain silent. And we need to know that the IACHR can issue significant findings. They can issue recommendations. They can issue protective measures, and they can shape international awareness and public discourse. And it's imperative that, and I'm pleading right now, it's imperative that the IACHR finds the U.S. in violation of both its own laws and international human rights laws.
Yes.
We need to become culpable of genocide. And everyone in this room and everyone that cares about this issue, we need to build pressure, layer by layer, institutional finding by institutional finding, until our nation feels compelled to do what is finally and morally and legally right to do. So it's my sincere hope that the findings of the IACHR align with those of the International Criminal Court, that they clearly recognize Israel's war crimes, that we as a country are facilitating it, and prompting the nations of the Americas and the Western Hemisphere to unite in a powerful chorus, declaring unequivocally, enough is enough. Thank you. And I'll just end by saying that this advocacy, it's something that all Americans need to do, that we can join together so that we can never be held complicit for this genocide to the degree that our government currently is. But we cannot stop. And in this effort, I am praying to Allah, I am praying to God that He responds and answers our prayers. So thank you very much.